Welcome back to another episode of Rob Sports Center, man. As you can see by the title, man. So this is a very interesting video, and it's been a video that I have been prolonging to make, that I've been very excited to make. So as you can see by the title, man, LSU has converted cornerback recruit Juwan Johnson that came from LCA over to quarterback, which is what he played initially. Juwan Johnson hadn't played cornerback, I think, maybe since his freshman year. So, I mean, I think maybe halfway through his freshman year. I can't really remember exactly when it started, but from whatever point it was, sophomore, junior, senior, he was playing a quarterback, and he was, dominating as a quarterback. So I didn't really understand why LSU could, signed him as a cornerback when he hadn't played the position in, three years maybe, you know what I mean? And then being that he only played quarterback, he didn't play cornerback at LCA, especially those 3 years, and just thinking that he was going to be able to come to the SEC, the next level, one of the highest levels in college football, and just be able to catch on. That's just not always the case. So they kind of moved him around throughout the season. This year, I think initially he started like at cornerback or safety, one of them. Then eventually they moved him over to, I think, maybe receiver, and I think running back then receiver. My thing was, if they wasn't going to play him as quarterback, I felt that he should have been a receiver. You know what I mean? He has phenomenal ball skills. He's amazing with the ball in his hand in space. So, I mean, for me, I just felt that it probably should have been a receiver. And I know they, put him at running back first game as a running back. He scored a touchdown. That's just what playmakers do. But my thing was, I don't know if he was going to have success as a whole as a running back opposed to receiver. So that was my take. But I see that they just recently switched him over to quarterback. And I think LSU got some things going on. I think with the guy that ended up decommitting from him and ended up going to Michigan, I think everything was kind of banking on him. And then things didn't go that way with him, obviously. And then you got Nussmeier, the guy right now. He's coming back, which I don't think I don't think that he's a solution for what LSU needs right now. I think that LSU's done a phenomenal job in aspects with recruiting. I mean, you got Harlan Berry coming in this year, phenomenal running back. You got JT Lindsey coming in this year, a great running back. You got Teron Francis, a receiver coming from Carr. You got Phillip Wright III, a receiver coming from Destrehan. And on top of the talent that they already have, then you got Trey'Dez Green, who was playing as a true freshman as well, who I think is going to blossom into a bigger role this coming up season. So, giving that option of having a mobile quarterback with that type of offense, with those type of backs, I think just going to create a lot of opportunities for LSU in the future. So what I did was I just kind of went through and I just for those who may not know and who kind of looking like, man, I think that was a dumb move by LSU. I'm kind of going to give you guys a brief rundown on Juwan Johnson, his quarterback career, and his success throughout the years as a quarterback. So we're going to start from his freshman year. So his freshman year, he played all 14 games. He had 96 passing attempts for 763 yards with 9 touchdowns, 3 interceptions, with a QB rating of 94.2. So you go to his sophomore year, he played 12 games. He had 197 pass attempts with 2,340 yards, 24 touchdowns, 9 interceptions, and a QB rating of 124.2. So you go to his junior year, he played all 14 games, had 373 pass attempts for 4,012 yards, 43 touchdowns, and 14 interceptions with a QB rating of 118.8. So now you jump down to his senior year, he had 14 games played as well. So he's been pretty active throughout his career. Looking at his sophomore year, his own time that he missed 2 games. But he had 316 passing attempts, 3,630 yards, 41 touchdowns, 13 interceptions with a QB rating of 128.8. So now you go down to his dual threat ability as his rush history. So we're going to start from freshman year with that as well. He played 10 games, carried the ball 14 times for 62 yards. He had an average carry of 4.4 yards. His longest carry was 16 yards. He didn't have any 100-plus yards rushing games, and he had 1 touchdown. You go to his sophomore year, he played 12 games. He had 126 carries for 834 yards with a 6.6 average yards per carry. His longest carry was 49 yards, and he had 4 100-plus yard rushing games with 11 touchdowns. So you go to his junior year, he had 192 carries for 1,315 yards with an average carry of 6.8 yards. His longest carry was 41 yards, and he had 300-plus yard rushing games for 17 touchdowns. And then you go to his miraculous senior year, he had 170 carries for 1,500 yards, average 8.8 yards a carry. His longest carry was 77 yards, and he had 7 100-plus yards rushing games, and he had 25 rushing touchdowns. So you pair that, his senior year, he had 316 passing attempts for 3,630 yards, 41 touchdowns, 13 interceptions with a QB rating of 128.8. Then you go down to his carries. He had 170 carries for 1,500 yards, 8.8 yards per carry. Longest carry was 77 yards. 100 plus yard rushing games with 25 touchdowns. That is a miraculous season, and he's doing that at the 4A level. And I know this kid is a winner because I know he's been to I want to say at least 2 different state championships. I mean, it could have been more. I'm just, going based off of what I remember. I don't want to give out no false information, obviously. So this kid is just a winner all around, and he's doing it, like I said, at the 4A division. Me, I always talk about level of competition. Anybody can dog at those smaller levels, but when you get higher up, the competition level becomes much more difficult. So, he's doing this at a high level. So you look at, he broke a record his senior year. So Juwan Johnson broke a 24-year-old record in Louisiana that was previously held by Brock Berlin, Evangel Christian Academy player, held of 13,659 career total yards. Juwan Johnson set the new record with 13,662 total yards his senior year. So I did my own little scouting report for Juwan Johnson. If you guys are familiar with my videos, I usually go and look at 24/7 Sports, and they have an analyst on there named Gabe Brooks who normally gives his take, but on there they didn't have one for this because they had Juwan Johnson listed as an athlete over quarterback. So you couldn't really give a take on him as a quarterback because he wasn't playing that, and it wasn't enough to give a take on him playing cornerback because you hadn't really seen it. So I was like, it gives LSU a dual threat ability that they have lacked since Jaden Daniels, which will complement that roster of running backs LSU has and the ones that's coming in. Has the ability to extend plays and create opportunities for explosive plays downfield. Has a pretty good arm. He does have a pretty good arm, and he has I was one of those people who kind of was underrating him as a passer because I was like, okay, man, he's phenomenal. It's exciting to watch him with the ball in his hands running, but he actually has a pretty good arm. He actually has pretty good arm strength, and I've seen him make some sidearm throws. So he can throw the ball. He's not just a one-dimensional player. In terms of throwing power, could use some work on his. Well, he has a pretty good arm in terms of throwing power. He could use some work on his accuracy and being able to give receivers run after catch chances. Now, like I say, we do realize that it's going to the next level. And this is SEC football, the highest level in college football. So I think that a part of his development as a quarterback can work on, like plays like that, being able to get the receiver the ball and being able to try to pick up yards after the catch, So to be able to give a receiver a ball and put it to the point where he can maybe get 5 or 6 or 10 more yards after the catch opposed to making the catch, but he get tackled because of the placement of the ball. So I feel like those are things that he could work on. I think can be much better with good play calling. I think in high school they kind of relied heavily on his athleticism and didn't develop his IQ for the quarterback position. Has shown reckless tendencies as a passer going back to the Ruston game his senior season where he threw 5 interceptions, 2 which were returned for touchdowns. Has to make better decisions, and that will come along with proper development. And I do believe that. Like I said, I think in high school that they were relying so heavily on his athleticism, his ability to run, his ability to just make plays all around that you didn't really put too much focus on to developing him as a quarterback, considering especially that he wasn't going to be going to the next level to play quarterback. So, when you look at the Ruston game, granted, Ruston was a phenomenal defense, and this team that he's going up against was the team that eventually went to go win the Division 5 Class 5, the Division 5A non-select state championships this year. So that was a phenomenal defense. It wasn't a lot of defense that was able to do what he was able to do, or what they was able to do against him, so you got to take that into consideration. But like you say, you just got to get better at decision making and just knowing that I can't make this decision. I can't take us out of field goal range with, stupid plays like this. I can't take away opportunities. I can't put my defense in horrible positions making, bad passes. And I can't give up 14 touchdowns on the offensive side of the ball when my defense is actually getting stops, you know what I mean? So, but I think those are things that with a good QB coach and a good offensive coordinator, I think could be developed, he could have developed. Obviously you want to work on his play recognition, being able to identify defenses. Those are things that's going to take his game to the next level. So I hope that with him going to quarterback, LSU does put a lot more focus on helping him develop overall, because you look at what Jaden Daniel was able to do. You look at his transition. I was one of those people who wasn't big on him coming out of college just because I thought that he was just an athlete playing quarterback. But seeing what he's been able to do in the NFL, it shows you that he's more than just an athlete playing quarterback. And I think that has a lot to do with coaching and the development overall for players to help them take their game to the next level. But, man, I just want to briefly touch on that, man. Let me know if you're an LSU fan or if you're just a college football fan, period. Let me know what you think about it. You think this is a good move or a bad move, and let me know why you think it's a good move or a bad move. If you did enjoy this video, do me a big favor, man. Smash that thumbs up button. Also, if you're new to the channel, make sure you subscribe. And when you subscribe, click that post notification bell where you be notified every time I upload, man. Because I'm trying to get more consistent. I'm trying to have these videos coming out every day. So, man, stay tuned, and I'll see y'all in the next video.